In our discussions of the 2018 midterm elections, we have talked about voter suppression in general, but we've also talked about the specific situation in Georgia. And Georgia has this interesting, it's probably more outrageous would be a better word, outrageous situation where the Secretary of State, Brian Kemp, who's a Republican and is responsible for influencing such decisions as those about purging voters, those about voting hours and voting locations, he happens to be running in the race that he is also regulating from his perspective as Secretary of State. He's the Republican nominee for governor in Georgia against Democrat Stacey Abrams. He is the Secretary of State and the Republican candidate for governor. And we've been covering his extremely heavy-handed voter suppression tactics. This includes taking away polling places strategically from black areas, poor areas, and Democratic areas, causing confusion and vote abandonment. When you plan to vote in a certain place, and then you either hear that it's not going to be open, or it might not be open, or you show up and it's not open, he suspended more than 53,000 voter registrations, 70% of those for black people, for violating what's called the exact match standard, which says that your voter registration and needs to be in the exact same name as the ID or document that you use when you show up or to get registered. And as we know, there can be situations with people's middle names, hyphenation of last names, all sorts of reasons why there could be slight differences. He purged more than 107,000 voters from the voter rolls for not voting last election. And he has been sued for leaving more than 6 million voting records open to hacking. Also, interestingly, back in 2016, there was help offered by Homeland Security to secure the 2016 election. He's the only Secretary of State in the country who rejected that help. So this is a guy with a history of suppressing the vote. And now he has admitted during an event at a place called the Blind Pig Parlor Bar in Atlanta, an event called Georgia Professionals for Kemp, he admitted that he's concerned that people might exercise their right to vote. And he acknowledges that people exercising their right to vote wouldn't be good for him, but it would be good for his Democratic opponent, Stacey Abrams. This is not about illegal votes. This is not about voter fraud that he's concerned about. He's just concerned about turnout. He's concerned that people will vote. Here's the audio from the event.
As worried as we were going into the start of early voting with the literally tens of millions of dollars that they are putting behind to get out the vote efforts for their base, a lot of that with absentee ballot requests. They have just an unprecedented number of that, which is something that continues to concern us, especially if everybody uses and exercises their right to vote, which they absolutely can, and mails those ballots in. We got to have heavy turnout to offset that.
If people exercise their right to vote, we're in trouble. This is panic in the Kemp campaign. Vote suppressor in chief admits he's worried about voter turnout. Do we need any more dots to connect at this point? His campaign was asked for comment about his comments at this event that were recorded. They have said no comment. The Facebook event page for this event has been retroactively deleted. This is a strategy, and that's the thing, Pat. He's not saying anything we didn't know, right? We know that the right sees suppressing votes as a strategy for winning elections. We know they know when voter turnout is higher, that tends to help the more progressive candidate, the candidate that's more to the left. The thing is, this has been the subtext, right? Like the subtext for closing polling locations and deregistering people and purging voters. The subtext has been we don't want people to vote. Now he's in a recording actually saying that. He's making it the headline.
This reminded me of the Mitt Romney 47% video. One, because it's audio only. Also, you hear the dishes clanging in the background, but he's willing to say those things in front of his supporters, maybe like a rich donor base, but not willing to say it to the general public. And, everyone has a camera phone nowadays. That stuff can get out.
And most importantly, it's not really a secret. It's like the worst kept secret in Republican political strategy. And there's nothing less American than just being concerned about people exercising their right to vote. The response is likely going to be straight out of the Trump playbook, which is wait it out It hopefully will blow over, do nothing. And that's why I'm telling you, as I told you yesterday, day before, you can vote now. Early voting is happening now. Please vote in this race if you vote in Georgia. The last poll from October 21st and 22nd has this race as 48-48. There is a possibility of a Democratic governor in Georgia. This would be a massive victory. Now, if you go back to the prior polls, back from like October 15th to 17th, one had Stacey Abrams up, one had Kemp up. It's close. That's the point. And you
All
gotta
within
vote.
the margin of error. Definitely
Absolutely.
a toss-up race.
This is winnable. This is winnable is the point. They know it. They're worried. They're running scared. Please vote. Please vote. Today's show was made possible in part by Psyon Games and their new game for phone and tablet called Antidote, which is an award-winning strategy game that's all about using vaccines to defend the human body from bacteria and viruses. It's fast-paced. The graphics are amazing. The game has actually been commended by the World Health Organization because it has a mission to fight back against anti-vaccine misinformation. So the game is educational and fun to play. Download Antidote for free on your phone or tablet in the Google Play Store or the iOS App Store and have a blast using vaccines and the body's immune system to fight off deadly diseases. And don't forget to search for Psyon Games on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you're watching this on YouTube, I've put the links under the video.